Hi, I'm Gaurav Jial and I congratulate all the candidates for clearing the first phase of NID entrance examination. For NID, the number of candidates selected are 3 times the number of seats, which means your competition will be a little tougher because the candidates selected will be as good or even better than you. So the second phase of NID entrance examination comprises of studio test, interview and portfolio. So you must be wondering what NID Studio Test is like. In the first phase, you were tested upon your writing and drawing skills. So in the second phase, you will be evaluated based on your ability to handle different materials and keenness of your senses. So in the studio test, you will be asked mainly 2 kinds of questions. One based on your observation skills and second conceptualization. So some examples of the NID questions are, one can be on doodling, wherein you have to connect broken and incomplete lines and write a caption. Another might be based upon your observation skills, in which you might have to make an LPG cylinder 1/10 the size of the original proportion. Some questions might be based on sensory perception. You might be given a visual of say extreme close-up of different objects, for example a camera, a crocodile or even spectacles. And from those extreme close-ups, you'll have to identify the original object. One question might be based on your conceptualization skills. For example, you might be given a soap and you have to create or carve something out on the theme soft corner. So in the interview, you will be given a chance to showcase your previous work as well as your other skills and talents. For example, you can even dance, you can sing, your artwork or your work can be of any size, any medium. The interview panel will be assessing you on the genuinity of your work and your personality. So I'm here to give you an insight on how to handle different materials for the studio test. So today's exercise is that we have to design a container from terracotta. And this container should be able to hold 200 ml of water. And the theme for this container is flora. But there is one condition that we cannot use any tools. So let me introduce you to the material terracotta. Now terracotta is a natural occurring clay. It can be molded into any form and you can add water to make it softer. So let's see how we're going to attempt the exercise that I just mentioned. See, this is the clay that I have, but I need some more water to make it softer. So I'll just take some water right here, sprinkle it and take the piece that I want to use. And now like dough, I need to knead it. Knead it properly so that it is homogeneous, so that some parts are not drier than the others. As you can see, I'm using a OHP sheet or a plastic sheet so that I don't mess up my table. Alright, I think my clay is ready. And now I can start making something. But the first step to make anything is conceptualizing. So first I need to ready my sketch. And now on a piece of paper, I will design the container. And I have to keep in mind that I cannot use any tools and I have to make everything with my hands. So since the theme is flora and my favorite flower is cauliflower, but I don't think it's a flower. So let's say, okay, I'll take the flower as lotus. I like lotus. And my sketch, a rough sketch, because remember you don't have too much time for this exercise. So, and your product which will be seen is the terracotta. So the sketch can be yours. It can be a rough sketch. Alright, so here is my flower. This is the basic design and approximately it will be the same size as the sketch because it's around 200 ml. And as you remember, you've seen the small bottle of water which you find sometimes in the plane, sometimes in different events going on. So that is the size which is 200 ml. So you have to keep in mind the volume. And this is the actual size of what 200 ml container would be. And this is the inside part that I have designed over here, which I'll insert later. So let's see how we do it. And how I'm going to design this flower, or actually a container, is that I'm going to design each petal separately and then join them together. So say this is the material for my first petal. Alright. You can use the flat surface to flatten it out so that you have nice, neat edges and the surface becomes flatter. It needs to be little longer because the petal is of that shape. So say something like this. Then I turn it again, put it here, put some water so that it doesn't stick, and flatten it out. And now I'll start shaping it like a petal. All right. So I'll have to make around 15 to 20 petals, including the small one and the big one. Now, since you don't have tools, so you have to be very smart and you have to use your fingers and hands as in the best way possible. So even if you have longer nails, then you can use it to carve things, to cut things. Because I don't have, so I cannot. But so use any means possible, any smart moves that you may think of to mold this thing into the perfect shape that you want. So the refinement I can do later. With terracotta, the good thing is you can add water to make it stick different petals to each other. I can also give carvings. I'll also be aware of the time that I have to finish this exercise. If you start like decorating the first petal itself for too long and you realize that you don't have enough time left, then maybe you won't be able to complete your container. So keep that in mind. So say the first petal is here. So now I have all my pieces ready, actually almost all, and I can share a small tip with you, which is that if you have to create similar shapes like these, so what you can do is you can take your clay, make a coil out of it, something like this, roll it gently between your fingers, and then break it into equal pieces. Now if I create a petal out of this, all my petals will have the same volume. So now we can start assembling our container. So piece by piece and petal by petal, I'll start joining it. You have to keep one thing in mind, that clay hardens with time, so which means you have to work really fast. Apply little water because that will act like an adhesive and will stick two pieces of clay. So now I have assembled all the parts and all the petals of the container. As you can see, I've started from the top and then went on the bottom so that I can lay them down. And now the last part is left, which is the center part, which will also seal the container. So I'll take a lump of clay like this and mold it into a, say, a half sphere, cut on the center. So I'll keep this on the side for the time being. And you can use your hands to mold this shape. And once it's done, you can keep it on the side. Now, to create some more details, I'll again make a coil, this time a thin one. And now, on this half sphere, I'll just take small bits of these, make like a small ball, dip in water, and stick it. So now my base cap is ready, as you can see. All I have to do is pick this up and fit it on this. Just before doing that, let me put some water to seal it up. This will help clay to stick with clay. And here we go. From the sides you can seal it. And now for the final touch, I'll give little texture to the petals. For that, I'll make little more coil, as I showed before. Make really thin coils, something like this. And now break it off and put a little water. something like this. You can have your own design or texture as you want. This is something that I came up with. Another piece over here. And we'll make more coils. And this way I'll complete all the petals in this container. So here we go. We have completed our container with terracotta. Just make sure that whatever design you choose, you should be able to do it without using any tools. So as you can see, my container is ready and I have given a little texture on the petals as well as inside. So let's test our container. So this is 200 ml which I have. Now let me pour it. And it works. So it's almost till the brim right here. So a few points to remember while working with terracotta. One is that, as I mentioned before, that you have to work really quickly because terracotta dries up with time. So to avoid that, what you can do is, if you are making your model in different parts, you can cover that with a damp cloth or even a polythene sheet. That will retain the moisture. I hope this exercise has helped you to understand terracotta as a material even better. And now you can make your own designs even without any tools.